What's going on, stackers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a lot of great info. Let's get into the content. So first we're starting off with Joe Biden. He's got the laser eyes. I think he's trying to buy the pro-crypto vote. The Democrats know that they definitely have a small chance of winning, so they gave him the laser eyes, hoping all the crypto bros are going to jump on his bandwagon. But man, let's be honest. Who's going to vote for Joe Biden, man? This guy ruined everything. He's senile. He can hardly speak a sentence. All he want to talk about is ice cream. And what a great segue into this clip. Let's hear from our President of the United States.
The Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging it just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
Come on, man. I just thought I'd throw that in there. It's pretty funny. Next up, we got Anthony Pompliano, and he's going to explain what's going on with the Bitcoin ETF.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. The price of Bitcoin crossing back over the $48,000 level over the weekend, 1 month this after the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETF. This morning, trading slightly lower. Joining us right now is Anthony Pompliano, founder of Pomp Investments. Good morning to you.
Morning.
This has been a bit of a wild ride because we talked about sort of selling the news or selling the rumor, buying the rumor, selling the news. But now we've come back to buying.
Yeah. I mean, look, the verdict's in, right? Wall Street doesn't just like Bitcoin, they love Bitcoin. If you think of these assets, there's been over 5,500 ETF launches in history. Never have we had a fund get to $3 billion in AUM in the first 30 days. BlackRock and Fidelity both just did it. So two for the first time in history. And then if you look at Bitwise and 21 Shares, ARK, they're both going to hit $1 billion this year or this week. And so now you have 4 funds that are going to hit $1 billion of inflows. But the most interesting part of this is the inflows. I mean, these funds are doing $500 million a day of net inflows, but there's only 900 Bitcoin that is actually coming into the daily incoming supply. And so when you look at that, that's like $40 to $45 million. There's 12.5x more demand for Bitcoin than what's being produced on a daily basis.
So how much of this do you think is being generated by the ETFs themselves?
Well, I mean, you just measure the actual net inflows, right? And so you can just see there is way more buying pressure.
So you're saying $3 billion for BlackRock.
There's $4 billion now for BlackRock, 3.5 for Fidelity, and then you've got Bitwise and 21 Shares will both hit about $1 billion this upcoming week.
Total valuation, though, of Bitcoin, if
$1 trillion.
The market cap is $1 trillion. So isn't this a de minimis issue or no?
Now here's where it gets really interesting.
Most of these things aren't trading.
80% of all Bitcoin in circulation has not moved in the last 6 months. You have only about $200 billion is actually tradable. And so that means that these ETFs sucked up 5% of the entire tradable supply of Bitcoin in 30 days. I mean, Bitcoin is become Wall Street's favorite asset.
What were you going to say, Joe? I can tell you.
I'm not going to say. 5% doesn't sound like a lot. Here's what I'm
in 30 days?
It used to take a lot for someone to invest in Bitcoin.
Yes.
It's real easy right now. And I don't know, are we going to 90,000 in a year? That'd be too weird. People don't double their money by buying an ETF in a year. So I think it might be a currency that you can use because it's going to stay at 47,000.
Well, look, the world is changing for sure. I mean, last year, the NASDAQ was up 50%, right? And so there's definitely these big moves that happen in the traditional markets. Bitcoin, obviously, is that on steroids. But the other thing that's now starting to happen, Fidelity just came out, and they've got a fund. It's an all-in-one fund out in Canada. And they're going to put 1 to 3% of that fund into the Bitcoin ETF. And so what you're going to start seeing is not just direct inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. You're going to start seeing them putting Bitcoin into all of their funds because it, from a risk-reward standpoint, drastically improves the performance of these portfolios. And they're going to start to realize if I'm lagging indicators, if I'm lagging performance, if I put a little bit of Bitcoin, 1 to 3% into this portfolio, it's going to enhance my returns.
Bitcoin, I think it might be good if it stayed at 47,000 for a year, because then people wouldn't worry about buying a pizza that's worth a Mercedes 2 years from now.
The joke in the Bitcoin community is the real Bitcoiners want the price to stay low so they can accumulate more of it, right? But obviously, when you have this much demand, the price got to go
a year from now, it's where? It's
much higher. I think that if this continues, if we have 12 and a half times more demand than we do incoming daily supply, and remember the halving is coming, so we're gonna go from 900 Bitcoin to 450 Bitcoin a day. I mean, this thing's going back to its all-time high. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point.
What's that other thing called, Beck?
There we go, baby. They're buying up 12 and a half times more than is being produced every day. Now, right now, we have about 918 coins coming into circulation. After the halving, it's going to be down there around 450, 460. Price go up, baby. Next up, we have Chris Larson, one of the founders of Ripple XRP. He's going to explain how they are the new plumbing.
You know, if you want to go direct to consumer, you might turn around one day and realize your entire company is marketing and customer support, and it's like 5% tech. And that's a recipe for failure too. Right now, we're about 2/3 tech because we're in the plumbing of the financial system. We don't have to market to consumers, and that way we can attract a bigger tech team. And you know, the best tech people want to work with great tech teams, and that means big tech teams. So I think we can have more impact. So and especially if you're trying to serve Chinese banks, Japanese banks, German banks, Australian banks, you cannot have any politics in this. You know, you can't be thumbing your nose at China's capital controls. You should be trying to help China market the RMB in Latin America and whatever they want. So I think you have to take a very agnostic view and just be builders, not disruptors. I think that would be the main thing I would say. And I hope we're seen that way.
There we go, baby. Interoperability. And let me say, 90% of Ripple's customers are not in the US. So they've been growing and expanding all over the world while we're waiting for this SEC case to be over in America. And also, Ripple has 34 money transmitter licenses in America. So they need about 15, 16 more. And then they will have a money transmitter license in every state. Now let's bring it to the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz.
We focused on payments, and that is our historical legacy. Payments are at the core of everything that we do in this space. Everything else that you look at, and whether it's DeFi, whether it's loans, whether it's stable coins, payments are at the heart of everything. Real-world asset tokenization. What are you going to do with a token? You're going to buy it, you're going to sell it, you're going to hold it. Well, two of those three things are payments.
And there we go, baby. And we know that they're expanding out, tokenizing real-world assets. That's going to be very big, as we heard Larry Fink from BlackRock saying that's the new trend. Next, we're going to bring it to Brad Garlinghouse, as Ripple has made a new acquisition. With standard custody, we will be able to improve existing product offerings for our customers, as well as explore new product use cases, all in a fully compliant way. To date, Ripple has secured nearly 40 U.S. money transmitter licenses, like I said, MPI licenses for MAS. Let's go, baby. So they're not stopping. As we know, last year they acquired Medico, which is an institutional custody company. And now they're acquiring standard custody. Big things popping, little things stopping. And then lastly, I just wanted to cover this article real quick. Crypto Fear and Greed Index reaches highest level since November 2021, which was the top of the last cycle. The Fear and Greed Index rose to 79 out of 100 points for the first time since Bitcoin reached an all-time high of 69,000. The Fear and Greed Index in the crypto market rose to 79 points out of 100, which means the market sentiment has shifted to extreme greed. And if you never see the Fear and Greed Index, this is what it looks like. You guys can just Google it. And when we get over here into extreme greed, the market tends to sell off. So you want to be selling when it comes over here deep into the green. And then when it comes over here into the red, you're going to want to be buying. That's going to be in the bear market, come down here around 2019. So I just wanted to point that out. This is a good indicator on when to buy and sell. Obviously, you don't want to just use the fear and greed index, but it is a good gauge. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video for today. I'll be back with another one tomorrow. Shout out to our sponsor, So Much Send, at SoMuchSend.com and at So Much Send on all platforms. If you guys could, head over to StackUpCrypto on Instagram. We've been exploding lately. Lots of new followers today. I think we got about 300 new followers today, and a couple of the videos have been going viral. So if you do that, I'd appreciate it. And if you could subscribe, like, and maybe leave a comment on this video, that would be awesome. Keep stacking and stay bullish.